In today's lesson, we're going to talk about fraction and mixed number subtraction, focusing on mixed numbers. And on the screen here, we've got first sample problem is 3 1/3 subtract 1 2/3. And in our class, we talk about how we deal with the fractions first, and then we come over to the whole number. As we can see, our denominators are the same, so we don't need to find equivalent fractions. But 1/3 is less than 2/3, so there's another step we have to take before we can subtract. And to do that, I'm going to demonstrate on the picture up here. So if I want to take away 1 2/3 from 3 1/3, I'm going to have to take one of our whole pieces and divide it also into thirds. So now we have, with our picture, we have represented 2 4/3, because each piece is worth a third. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to start by taking away 2/3. So to do that, I'm just going to cross out 2/3 of the pieces we have. Then I have to take away the whole number, and I'm going to get rid of this one. That leaves us then with 1 whole. I'm going to get a different color here. That leaves us with 1 whole and 2/3 of another. So after we subtract, we would get 1 2/3. Now, to show that using the fractions here, we would start by, again, you can't do 1/3 subtract 2/3, so we're going to use one of our whole numbers, and we're going to exchange that for 1 whole on this side, and we have to represent that with a fraction. So to do that, we'll look at the denominator. Since it's thirds, 1 whole for thirds would be 3/3, and then 1/3 plus 3/3 equals 4/3. Now I can go ahead and subtract my 2/3. 4/3 subtract 2/3 is 2/3, and then 2 subtract 1 is 1. So our final answer then would match this one, and it would be 1 2/3. For our second sample problem, we're going to do 8 1/6 subtract 3 5/9. And again, we're going to start by working on our fractions first. For this problem, the denominators are the same, so we're going to have to find a common denominator. In previous videos, we talked about 3 different strategies to do that. One of them, we talked about doing a quick common denominator where we could multiply the numbers together. In this case, 9 times 6 would be 54. That's a pretty big number. So for this one, I'm going to go with the multiples of 6 and 9, so that I get a number that's a little bit more manageable to work with. And the multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24. And then I'm going to come down here and start with 9. We've got 9, 18. And as you can see, 18 is the least common multiple, so we can use that as our common denominator for this problem. And to find our common denominator, or to find an equivalent fraction, now we have to multiply. And in this case, 6 times 3 is 18. So I have to do the same to both. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then down here, we're going to multiply by 2/2, because 9 times 2 is 18. So 5 times 2 is 10. Now I'm at the point where I have equivalent or common denominators, but now 3/18 is smaller than 10/18. So now I have to come over and grab one of my wholes, and I'm going to bring that 1 whole and bring it to this side. I'm going to look at the denominator, which is 18. So I'm going to add 18 eighteenths, and I will get 21 eighteenths. Make that 8 a little bit better. Now, I can subtract my 10 eighteenths from my 21 eighteenths, and I get 11 eighteenths. Now I come back, I do my whole numbers. 7 subtract 3 is 4. So I put my whole number along with my fraction, and I get the mixed number 4 and 11 eighteenths. If you have any questions, make sure you let your teacher know, and we'll see you in the next video.